like this, maybe you don't want to risk any more injury to him and keep him out. As the handoff is brought down in the backfield, Yates had nowhere to go on that one, swarmed by the Raiders. In the backfield on the tackle was number 47 of the Raiders. That is Robert Cosby.
Right, Luke, and like you said, Blake Batarse, they got him out with his shoulder pads off. Already up by so much, you don't want to risk one of your best players, send him back out there with a potential injury. Smart move by the Raiders, keeping Blake Batarse out of the game right now in order to look further into that injury.
Well, the Raiders not changing up their defense. They like the single high safety look. There's play action, throwing deep over the middle, and incomplete, but a flag. Not entirely sure what the thought process there was, but that is a clear pass interference penalty. Very unnecessary. Could have even made an interception, possibly.
Very unnecessary. You got to have your eyes on the ball. Instead, he's got his eyes on the player. Definitely defenseless. Unnecessary play there. Could have came up with an interception. Instead, gives the Brahmas a first down.
Defense, number 89, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic.
Khalil Collins in the Raiders secondary, substituting in for Daniel Pierce. And that was not a very good play for the Raiders. Gives a free first down to L.A. Pierce as they will move the chains. They are marked at the 33-yard line.
They come out in double running back set.
Here's the handoff up the middle to Kirksey. He will pick up 3, and second down and 7 to go with 8 minutes left in the first half. Maybe a sense of urgency in these last couple minutes. Try to get some points on the boards, maybe a touchdown. If you get lucky, maybe 2. Just cut down at the lead as most as you can.
Right, clock is running. You want to make a statement drive right here, either a field goal or a touchdown, some sort of points. And if you can make a stop, you get another chance. There's enough time. Some sort of momentum. You want to get some momentum going for this L.A. Pierce offense.
There's Lambert in motion. A fake toss out to Yates. Yates has a corner and a first down. Yates spilled at the 50. And a good pickup for L.A. Pierce, gaining some momentum on the offensive end.
Once again, going to their guy, number 4, Yates. They got a little bit of a misdirection with the motion there, and they got a pitch to the, off to the left side. He's able to break free and pick up a first down.
And Peyton Pelletier, this is the first time they've sort of, outside of penalties, of course, had something going on the offensive side with him in at quarterback. It'll be interesting to see what they do at halftime, if they decide to take him out and put Abajian back in, or stay with him the rest of the game since the score is not favoring your team. Under pressure, throwing over the middle. Easy interception for the Raiders. Down to the left side. He's got a blocker up ahead. It is cutting inside. Collins once again. So after the pass interference, Khalil Collins takes it inside the red zone on the interception.
Right, like you said, he makes the unnecessary play early in the drive, sets up some first downs for the L.A. Pierce offense, but he makes the play at the end of the drive. Puts the Moorpark Raiders once again in amazing field position, already in the red zone. We'll see how they react to that and try and set up another score here at the end of the second half, or first half.
We'll see what the quarterback decision is. It is Croton. So I'd imagine we'd see McLeod Croton the remainder of the game, save Bennett Johnson up 35. They do go with Landless and Davis in the backfield. Jones, the lone receiver, split out to the left. Here's a handoff, Landless up the middle. Brought down after a pickup of 3. It'll be second down and long.
Like you said, keep Bennett Johnson out of the game, give him some rest. Stay with the community running back situation. Keep switching guys in and out. You see Ty Eli coming off the field. And number 3 for the Moorpark Raiders, Christian Revis Keener going in. Cameron Davis and Gabe Landless also out there in the backfield.
I believe on the far side is River Stout, tall receiver for the Raiders.
Tall receiver on a mismatch out there on the cornerback.
And he stands at 6'4". They will go play action, slant. Jones caught, touchdown, Moorpark. Croton connects for Jones, then the second touchdown for number 14 on the day.
Another touchdown for Alex Jones. Runs a great route, cuts up the field. He's able to stem inside for the slant. Safety catch, catches it on the body, gets into the end zone for another touchdown. Great play, great read by the QB. He sees his guy, puts his faith in him, puts the ball right on the money, and they see the end zone once again. Daniel Burke out here for the extra point.
Jones had a 50-yard touchdown and now an 11-yard touchdown reception. And he continues to rack up the end zone trips for the Raiders. And the extra point up and good for Burke, and it is 42-0 with 6:11 to go in the first half of play. Dominance from the Moore Park Raiders over the LA Pierce Brahmas.
Right, and going back to Alex Jones, I believe that is 3 targets, 2 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. Once again, more efficiency from the Moore Park offense. We'll see how the defense comes out against LA Pierce. 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Daniel Burke out to kick.
And what do you even do on the offensive end of the game down 42-0? It's not like it's a one-play fix. I mean, it's deep-rooted stuff you got to figure out with your game plan. Maybe you throw the whole thing out. Maybe you try some trickery, test some plays out, because in a game like this, where last week it was 63-0, now it's 42-0 against Moore Park, you got to sort of figure something out going into next week of what you can build on and improve upon, and maybe you can do that in this game. Find something that works.
Right, and now...
And a self-onside kick does not get past 10 yards for the Raiders, and it will be first down and 10. An excellent field position now for the Brahmas. They could get on the board here with 6:05 left in the first half. Definitely a good chance.
Right, Luke, and like what you were saying earlier, you just want to find some confidence. Confidence in someone, whether that's picking up a good drive right here and some points with Peyton Pelletier, or heading into the locker room and trying to find another scheme with Matthew Abajian. They got to find some sort of way to pick up some momentum and start driving. Here we see Matthew Abajian going back out on the field.
It seems we'll just see them alternate out, and whoever does the best on the drive, if you're doing good, you'll stay in.
And at this point, if you're either of the QBs, Peyton Pelletier or Matthew Abajian, you got to prove to yourself and prove to the rest of your team that you're the leader and you should be in the game right now.
A pitch out to Yates, met in the backfield. A flag is thrown. He was hit in the backfield by Michael Garibay. A pink flag out in the field is looking for yellow, but the month of October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. A couple of the players and officials decked out in their pink gear.
Flag seems to be clipping by the LA Pierce offense.
Personal foul, blindside block on the offense. 15-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Well, a huge 15-yard penalty, a blindside block, because you thought it was clipping, just about what clipping is, about blindside blocks, but that's huge now. You're in not so great field position. You go from the 45 all the way back to your own 40.
Right, you pick up that onside kick that failed, and now you're set back 15 more yards out of Raider territory.
And Abajian in trouble, under pressure, he lost the football. The ball is out, and a strip sack will be credited to about 3 Raiders. I don't know how you're going to slice that one up on the stat sheet, but nonetheless, Moore Park almost got the ball back.
3 Raiders fighting for a sack there. Big competition. Closing in on him quick. He's trying to slip through in the middle of the field. Fumbles the ball, but the linemen are able to pick it up, keeping the play alive. They actually picked up some yards, believe it or not. Successful play.
Well, I guess that works out, but it's second down and about 35 to go. And Abajian not in a great situation here, down 42. He's got trips to his left. There's the snap. He's going to spin around, fire it to Yates in the flats. Try to use this speed to get outside, and Yates has an angle down the sidelines as he's pushed out of bounds by Garibay.
Quick screen pass, Matthew Abajian to Yates. He's able to break a tackle, get down the field. Still a third and very long for the LA Pierce Brahmas.
We're under 5 minutes to go in the first half.
Matthew Abajian comes out with the play. Once again, you got to expect pass here, but they've surprised us before with a draw or a screen pass.
Well, I'd imagine a little bit more deep passing. You got to look forward in this. I mean, the 2 deep passes they've taken have been intercepted and pass interfered, so if that's a 50-50 ball, maybe you're willing to take the chance of some free yards. Deep shot here, and oh, just broken up. What a play.
Michael Garibay, the safety on the play, breaks up the pass. What would have been maybe a touchdown on a broken pass.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 91. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Another
So,
costly penalty by the Moore Park Raiders.
Robert Ruggiero.
Roughing the passer is going to bring up another first down, and it's going to move them into Moore Park territory. Possibly in field goal range.
33-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Brahmas.
We have yet to see any sort of extra point or field goal attempt here from the LA Pierce offense.
Well, we saw the field goal, but it was fake. We haven't really seen the range thus far from Asen Ortiz. And some confusion on the formation. They're going to go with
They will flip.
a wide receiver in the backfield, it looks. Here's Abajian. Pressure coming from his blind side. Fires deep, diving, and incomplete. It was, I believe, C.J. Jackson closing in on the possible interception, but it falls harmlessly to the ground with 4 minutes to go.
An underthrown ball. C.J. Jackson seems to have lost it in the light. Low, doesn't come up with the interception, but it is a pass block. Another ball downfield that we've seen incomplete for the LA Pierce Brahmas.
They haven't done necessarily the best job stretching the field. Versus Moore Park, on the other hand, they've had 2 deep touchdown passes from Bennett Johnston. One was to Batarse, the other to Alexander Jones.
Peyton Pelletier back in at quarterback.
Pressure, deep pass, and this one's going to be intercepted by C.J. Jackson. Picked off at the 5. He's got an entourage ahead. And he's across midfield, down the sidelines, inside the 40, and he's going to go. Clear head away. Touchdown, Moore Park. A 95 interception touchdown return.
Great play by C.J. Jackson. It's an underthrown ball. He gets his eyes back to the quarterback. He's able to catch that ball, and he turns into a returner. Instantly looking downfield, trying to find a hole, trying to find his way to the end zone. Does it successfully, breaks a few tackles. Another defensive touchdown. Moore Park Raiders are flying right now.
48-0. And we mentioned how the lack of Peyton Casillas and Amari Thomas would affect this game. Pass rush has gotten 3 sacks, including one that was a fumble. They didn't recover it, but nonetheless. And then the secondary has stepped up as well. Moore Park adds, I believe that's their 6th defensive touchdown of the season. Or correction, that's the 5th, because Pierce's pick 6 was taken off the board. As the extra point's good, it's 49-0.
49-0, less than 4 minutes left in the first half. Moore Park is looking very comfortable. Expect some rotations, some second string guys coming into play. Once again, not a very successful drive by LA Pierce. We thought they were moving, getting into Moore Park territory. They were possibly in field goal range. They switch out Matthew Abajian after an almost interception for Peyton Pelletier, and he unloads one deep for another interception.
So Abajian, barring the 1 penalty, has been pick 6 twice in this game, but on the stat sheet it will only be 1 returned for the touchdown. Well, now you just try to take it into half after that sort of play, and it kind of shows you, okay, we just need to get into the locker room, don't want to make matters worse. Here's Yates, and they will let him step back into the end zone for a touchback.
Right, and Yates doesn't want to take it out. He's going to bring it up to the 25, try and get better field position. We'll see who they decide to bring out for quarterback.
It looks to be Peyton Pelletier seems to be coming out into the field. And Noah Bajian, it is Pelletier for the final 350, it seems. Well, LA Pierce, they came into this game with a strategy of run the ball, hit quick passes, and it has not worked out for me. You're going to try more intermediate things toward the sidelines. You've done a lot over the middle. It's been intercepted almost every time. And here's a handoff to the right side. Nowhere to go, wrapped up for a loss.
They come out with the double running back set. They got the motion. They fake it to the motion guy, give it to their fullback, curtsy, but it's a play they've seen before on the Moore Park Raider defense. Come up quick to make the tackle and bring up a 2nd and long.
Well, that great tackle made by Braden Robinson out in the secondary. A sophomore defensive back for the Raiders. As we approach the 3-minute mark in the first half.
Timeout. LA Pierce. That's
So
your
a
second
timeout
timeout.
from the Brahmas, their second of the first half. Maybe to just talk over what's going on these last 3:13. Ask your players, are you wanting to go for shots down the field still and have the chance of it be intercepted? As we saw, even a deep shot isn't safe. 95 yards from C.J. Jackson.
Right, and like you say, they're trying to pick up some yards. They want to get some confidence in their players. But do they want to just play it safe and run this out into the halftime and maybe set up a solid scheme coming out into the second half? So far, we've seen multiple turnovers, but no real risky plays from LA Pierce. A couple deep balls. Their scheme so far has been pretty inconsistent, running it a few times. No real quick passing plays, trying to get to the sticks, curls, out routes. It's either deep or it's a run play, and it hasn't worked so far.
Well, the Raiders, everything has gone right for them. This is their biggest margin lead since the start of our broadcast program.
Yates on the carry. Takes the ball to the 24-yard line. It'll be 3rd
And their defense, as we mentioned, has been playing excellent. They have definitely set up their offense in great field position multiple times as a false start on LA Pierce, but 0 points given up in the first half definitely is a big help.
Right, and so far this season we've noticed when this Moore
False
Park
start. Offense. Number 72. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
when this Moore Park Raider defense shows up to play, they win games. And you hear it time and time again, a good offense is a great defense, and as of now in this game, it's been a great offense and a great defense for the Moore Park Raiders. They've been flying around the field in the secondary, making plays.
Well, here's a keeper by Pelletier. They'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, and we are under 2:30 to go.
QB draw from LA Pierce. He's able to pick up a few yards, brings up a 4th and 9. Punt team comes out. We see now some different returners going out for the Moore Park Raiders special teams unit. Number 3, Christian Revis Keener, and number 89, Khalil Collins.
Well, Collins
safety.
had the interception earlier against Pelletier.
Almost another return for a touchdown. Quite a nice return.
Oh, and a high snap over the head of the punter into the end zone, and he will let it dribble out of the back for a safety for the Raiders, so they will break the 50-point mark in the first half alone. Can't get much better if you're Moore Park. 51-0 with 1:43 to go, and you get the ball back.
That is quite possibly the worst thing that could have happened for this LA Pierce special teams unit, besides maybe a return touchdown. Gives up 2 points, and it gives the ball back to the Raiders, and they still have to punt it out to them.
Well, at this point in the game, a touchdown here would make it 58-0. I mean, last week, LA Pierce surrendered 63 in the game alone. It's 51 in the first half. So, I mean, as you mentioned, they can only go up from there. It seems like they've found a way to like slide a little bit, but there's still half of football to play. They can salvage some of this game. You know, if you get your offense going or your defense gets a turnover or something, that's a positive to build off of.
Right. They have their ceiling. It's set at whatever. They're at the floor right now. They can only get better. But so far, Moore Park Raiders, they're still on their heels. They're coming out here against the LA Pierce home stadium. They want to put on a show, and so far they have.
Well, Moore Park definitely looking to hold on to this lead in the second half and improve to 3-0 at home this season. They would be 2-0 in conference play. And this kick will go out of bounds. That is a penalty. Unlike a normal punt, this counts as a kickoff, so the Raiders will get great field position.
Once again, costly. Not sure if they recognize that, as it is a punt, but it's counted as a kickoff. That'll be another 15-yard penalty. Put the Raiders in great field position. And here comes McLeod Croton out of QB once again. River Stout on the left side. Trips with Christian Rivas Keener and Arcelis Johnson at the top island.
Well, maybe look for Arcelis Johnson. We saw him get one deep shot earlier. He drew a pass interference penalty. And here's Croton looking to pass. He's going to throw it at Johnson on the hitch. Complete and fighting. He'll only pick up about 5. Ends up taking a couple extra seconds off the clock.
Quick read. He's able to stay in bounds. Keeps the clock running, but picks up some yards, bringing up a 2nd and 4.
The Raiders sticking with the no-huddle offense. This a handoff up the middle to Royce Powell. And that gives the Raiders a first down and across midfield with a minute to go. And if you're Moore Park in a game that you're up 51-0, are you going to try to score more points before the half, make it sort of a sense of urgency kind of thing, and test your team?
Well, they've been efficient so far. I think you're putting the pressure on them. They got the clock running against them. They're already up by so much. I think you just want to run the ball, get some stats for your guy, Royce Powell, maybe run this out into halftime.
Well, it looks as if they're very content with doing that. Powell gets his second carry. And maybe a play action pass deep over the middle. Again, there is a level of sportsmanship of it, but at the same time, it is conference play. You need to score as many points as you can if there's a tiebreaker at stake late in the season for the conference championship. Over the middle. Oh, Christian Rivas Keener is lit up. A huge hit by Yates over the middle of the field, incomplete.
Right, Luke, like you said, there's a level of sportsmanship, but once again, conference play, and this is JUCO football. Everybody's fighting for looks. You want to get your 10 great plays out there for a D1 school or even an NFL team. You want to go out there and you want to go off, you want to play great, and you want to excel in front of your fans, your parents, the scouts. So I believe they'll keep driving. Nothing too big, but keep making
Under
plays.
pressure, a screen dropped by Powell. And 13.7 remains in the first half, 51-0 in favor of the Moore Park Raiders. And we'll see what they decide to do. I would imagine either a handoff here or one deep shot to end the half, try to extend the lead, or just safely take it 51-0. And a hard count. They got him off sides. They throw to River Stout, complete at the 35. He will get out of bounds with 9.9 to go. The penalty will be declined.
Right, Luke, they get that free play off. Not necessarily worried about turning the ball over and worried about the LA Pierce Brahmas scoring, so they go for it on 4th and long. They get the free play. They pick up the first down.
Offsides. LA Pierce. That penalty be declined. Result of the play. First down.
And
be a
the
first
clock will
down.
now run. And a timeout called, it looks, by Moore Park. They do want to get more plays off. You heard from the sidelines coaches saying, we got to go.
Timeout. Moore Park.
So the no call of the timeout takes 3.3 off the clock.
Down to the 37-yard line.
They'll have one more play out here, maybe two,
First and 10.
depending on where they catch this ball. If it's a pass, would not assume it's a run.
Well, it does seem like there is a running clock. Stout very clearly got out of bounds on that play, so the clock just winding down to end this half. But a deep shot could take all 6.6 off, or you could be left with about a second or so. You could get, as you mentioned, 2 plays. And I'd imagine based off the fact that they're still out there driving and haven't kneed this ball down, they want to score more points. They want to get everybody their looks, as you mentioned. You want 10 great plays, I believe you said, for a Division I school, because that's what JUCO is about. It's you're at the next level, but you're trying to get to the goal, which is Division I football for the majority of the guys out there.
Right, Luke, and ideally they want to come out here, they want to be efficient right now. They got 6 seconds, thinking maybe look to the sticks, out routes, curls, and maybe give their guy Daniel Burke a chance to hit another field goal here late in the first half.
Well, he missed his first one. This one, a quick throw. Stout up high, caught out of bounds. But they're going to have to call a timeout. And they're going to go field goal with 3.2 left. And you called it. They wanted to set up Burke for the field goal. So the 2 catches from Stout. And now from the 28, this will be a 45-yard field goal attempt from Daniel Burke. He has a long of 40 on the season. That came against Santa Ana in the 4th quarter. And the snap is down, kick is away. Burke has the distance, but missed it wide right again. So Burke 0 for 2 to the right, and that'll end the first half. Your score, Moore Park 51, LA Pierce 0. And Ian, final thoughts of the half?
Final thoughts, I think LA Pierce has got to come out, find a QB, find a scheme, start throwing some balls down the field. You know, they gotta come up with some good plays to look back on, maybe on film for next week. The game is out of your hands essentially at this point. Come out here, put some confidence in your players, and for the Moore Park side, keep doing what you're doing. Defense is playing great, offense is playing great. You're gonna get some more looks from McLeod Croton and the rest of the offense. Royce Powell, they're gonna stay with that community running back system they got. They're just gonna keep driving.
So a dominant first half from Moore Park. Thank you for joining us up to this point, ladies and gentlemen. Please stay tuned for the second half action of Moore Park Raider football, and we will see you in just a few minutes. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to second half action at Griffin Stadium. The Moore Park Raiders, to start the second half, will kick the ball away to L.A. Pierce. The score 51-0 in favor of Moore Park. Well, in halftime, Ian, what kind of adjustments would you be expecting on the Pierce end of things down such a almost insurmountable score?
Well, they're definitely going to be rotating QBs in back and forth, maybe each drive. Still keep Yates on the field. He's been electric. He's been able to make some plays. Try and get the balls out to your receivers early. Start making some drives. They were making drives early in the first quarter, but they stopped so far. They lost some momentum. Moore Park started scoring, inching away, and now it's 51-0. Very one-sided game.
And the Burt kick away to the 10 for Anthony. The first time he gets the return, and he will be wrapped up at the 15 by a swarm of Raiders led by Christian Rivas-Keener. Well, interesting to see what quarterback we get coming out first.
Looks like Peyton Pelletier, number 18, coming out to helm the offense.
Well, as expected, we've seen a healthy mix of Abajian and Pelletier. We weren't exactly sure going into it how they would rotate out, but it seems to just be whoever's doing the hot hand, and then if you don't have a great drive, give yourself a rest. We'll throw the other one in. They start with a handoff to Padilla, and he spins for about 3.
Right, and in previous games, we've seen both of them hit the field. Now, they started with Abajian, who has been the backup most of the year. Now, seemingly a 50-50 split between each of them. One has a bad play, take him out, let him clear the head, get him fresh, send him back out after the next drive. Peyton Pelletier here to start the second half with number 4, Charles Yates in the backfield, their starting running back.
And here's the shotgun pass under pressure, rolling out to his left, nowhere to go, and will get tossed onto the track. A way late hit by Robert Ruggiero. That could be his second unsportsmanlike and personal foul.
Right, another costly penalty. You're already chasing him out of bounds. It is questionable as to if he got the ball out, but now it doesn't matter as they will accept that penalty.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 91. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Like you said, another unsportsmanlike conduct. Going to give them a first down and some better field position. A free first down for them. Pelletier will stay out.
That'll be automatic first down, as you mentioned, Ian. And they're just outside of the 30 now.
Dante Holy on this right side nearest to us.
I haven't heard his name called very much. I mean, we thought we would. I mean, he's definitely one of the taller receivers, and he's matched up against Brian Skurlock, who's only 5'11".
Right, Luke. Both Dante Holy and Mac Williams Becerra, a mismatch out here against the Moore Park Raiders corners, but unable to pick up some catches early.
And a high pass is incomplete, dropped by Holy, and finally sees the ball go his way, and he's not able to haul it in.
Bobbled as Brian Skurlock Jr. and Michael Garibay come up with the pass breakup in tandem. A little bit of teamwork there on the defense.
For CSUCI's 20th anniversary theme, honoring our past.
Well, the Raider defense, I mean, we've seen a lot of different players out there, a lot of different secondary sets, a lot of different pass rush sets, linebacker sets. And that trend's definitely going to continue in the second half. 0 points on the board, and that run won't even go for 0 itself. A loss of 1 for Yates.
Luke, and like you said, a lot of different sets, a lot of different players, and now being up 51-0, you're giving that defensive coordinator some freedom and some creativity to come up with some different sets, put different people out there in order to make them ready for some upcoming weeks and give them some game time experience. Key late in these games, already up by a lot.
Well, a big 3rd down and 10. Throwing and incomplete, overthrown. On the coverage, it was Jacob Monaco for the Raiders. And it falls incomplete, and that is 4th down. And I'd imagine a punt.
Pass attempt to the running back, Charles Yates. It's a little overthrown above his head. DB's there to make the play. Brings up a 4th and long, and they will keep the offense out on the field with Peyton Pelletier.
Well, this could put the Raiders in another prime position to add to their extensive lead. So in the last 2 weeks, Ian, 49 points, and now in one half, 51 for the Raiders. 100 points as the snap is fumbled, and that will be a loss of 7 and a turnover on down. So inside the 25, the Raiders offense will start in the second half, and Croton will be at the helm.
Luke, you mentioned 40-plus points in each of the last games. You know they're looking at conference and looking at scoring. There's no making friends in JUCO. You see that on the coaches level and the players level. It's a bit wishy-washy out here. You know, there's a lot of scuffles going on. You know, everyone's fighting for their own plays, fighting as a team. You want to look the best out here in your conference. Moore Park coming out. They can come out with a win today, as they should. They'll be 4-3, looking good at a playoff run maybe.
Well, and 2-0 in conference as well. As a reminder, Moore Park has not made a bowl game since 2010. Here's Croton complete and spun down inside the 20. Forward progress at the 16 is River Stout.
To number 19, River Stout.
Second catch for River Stout here. Quick 10-yard hitch. He's able to find the window in the middle of the field. McLeod Croton hits him right on the money. Brings up a 2nd and short. They are in the spread formation with Royce Powell in the backfield off to the right.
And Croton will complete it to Stout again. Turning to the outside. Stout has his eyes on the end zone, but it'll be 2 yards short. And the Raiders looking to find the end zone once again.
Another quick hitch play by River Stout and McLeod Croton. He's able to stop at the sticks, turn around, catch the ball. Big frame. He's able to carry that cornerback a few yards until he gets help from the linebacker. Here they are at the 4-yard line.
Here's Croton, a pass to the corner of the end zone. Caught, touchdown, but a flag is down. That was Arcelis Johnson on the catch. And it's going to be a pass interference.
Looks like it's on the offense. They're going to call push off.
Pass interference on the offense. Number 6. 15-yard penalty. We played it out.
So no touchdown for Arcelis Johnson. Got a little too handsy with the defensive back to gain positioning. And now 1st and goal from 13 yards out.
Questionable call. You got hands game from both the corner and the wide receiver out there. The refs, they see that the extension of the hands, and they're going to call push off by the receiver. PI, can't have that.
Here's Croton in trouble, rolling to his right, firing, and almost intercepted. It was dropped on the outside by Nathaniel Jackson. Was intended for Arcelis Johnson once again.
Croton tries to improvise. He's able to get away from the sack, throws the ball. Not complete, but it's not an interception. Smart play trying to get the ball out. Stops the clock. 2nd and long here in the red zone. They come out in the spread formation. Royce Powell still in the backfield. We're going to try and get him with the hard count.
Well, the Raiders definitely not afraid to pass. We're yet to see a handoff to Powell, who's been in the backfield all drive. Well, they give it to him here. And Powell will be brought down after a pickup of about 2. They'll mark him at the 10. So 3rd down and goal to go from 10 yards out.
We see some great blocking early on. Looks like Royce Powell stumbled a little bit, but he's able to pick up some yards. Brings up a 3rd and 10, 3rd and goal here in the red zone.
And the Raiders are looking for their 8th touchdown of the night as a team.
Right, and expect this ball to go out to the outside. You got Arcelis Johnson and River Stout, tall guys. Look for an up ball.
Croton had Arcelis Johnson, but out of reach, incomplete. So Daniel Burke in the field goal unit will come on the field. He's 0 for 2 tonight. And this is chip shot range.
Right, Luke, you're expecting him to make this field goal and put some more points on the board, make it 54-0. Some more momentum. A little bit of a choppy drive here, but still looking to be successful.
When Burke lines up, this is a 27-yard attempt. And the kick is good for Daniel Burke. He is 5 for 10, 50% on the season now. It is 54-0 in favor of the Raiders with 7:44 to go in the third quarter.
Long drive by the Raiders. They're able to take some time off the clock, but more importantly, they're able to put some more points on the board. Efficiency is key here, and that's exactly what the Moore Park Raiders have been. They will now kick the ball off to Yates again, and Rafi Anthony, number 33, back to return.
On a game like this, Ian, you got to keep your team motivated. You got to find a way for Pierce to jog out onto that field every time. Obviously, there's a sense of pride, but it seems like they just want to find something to build off of, whether it's a score or not. You're going for fourth downs and long inside your own 30. You just want to go say to your team, your players, I should say, go out there and do something. You know, do something that you can be proud of moving on to the next week and try to get a goose egg off the board.
Right, exactly. The worst thing you can have in a football game is a goose egg. You want to go out there, you want to make some plays. Anthony here to return.
He fielded it at the 5. He's going to reverse fields and brought down at the 20.
So you want to make some plays. You want to have something to look back on this next week in practice. Highlight some good plays. Obviously, they got some bad plays to look at, something to work on. But you want to come out here with some pride, and you want to finish the game on a good note, whether or not it's a win or a loss.
And the offense takes the field. Matabajian back in at quarterback. We'll see if either one of the two can break through the Raider defense. Thus far, no dice.
Bajian led some good drives early on in the game. First quarter, he had a few drives, 40, 50-yard drives. Didn't end up with some points, but they got some plays running. They had a little bit of consistency, something to look upon here as they run the motion, double running back set.
And a pile forms, but only a pickup of 2. Second down and 8 with 6:30 to go. Now, we talked about in pregame, especially you mentioned it, Ian, they needed to limit their turnovers. They came into the game with, I believe it was 22 on the season, including 15 combined interceptions for Abajian and Pelletier. They definitely have not done a swell job at that tonight. I mean, with the 3 interceptions, especially the safety over punt over the head, that's just not going to win you football games.
Right, they enter this game, both of them with a 1-to-5 touchdown interception ratio, which is simply unacceptable at the QB position. But most of all, they come into this game and they look predictable. You can tell what they're running. They got the same formations out there from the very beginning. They haven't really switched it up other than running the same.
As we got a scuffle on the field as Jason Labra was swarmed in the backfield by Brian Skurlock Jr. Great tackle as a little bit of a drizzle starts to fall here, and a rarity in California. Those of you who live here would know.
Seems as though the fans are clapping, probably because it's raining here in California.
It's always an exciting moment to see.
People are running and screaming. They don't know what to do. Appears to be raining a little bit harder now.
Now, we expected in pregame to have a little bit of a drizzle, as you can see it on the benches now. As it starts to come down harder at every moment, as Abajian's pass is incomplete.
And once again, another effect to this LA Pierce Brahmas offense. They will have to deal with this rain and an already unsuccessful attempt on offense. Now they will punt the ball off to Christian Rivas Keener and Khalil Collins in the back.
And the rain definitely coming down now. Some fans decide to make their way up top in hopes of avoiding the rain and the trees behind us. And the punt caught and sent away. It will be fielded at the inside the 45, and Moore Park will take over.
Fields the punt. Held immediately at the 42-yard line of the Brahmas. That's when the Raiders will take over, 1st and 10.
The Moore Park Raiders will take over the ball in L.A. Pierce territory. McLeod Croton seems to be in at quarterback, with Rasmussen near the huddle by the sidelines.
Rasmussen already a touchdown in this game. He, I believe, threw the first one to tie Eli, or one of the ones down by the goal line, but he's their sort of goal line operator.
Right, and he brings a different sort of aspect to the game. He's able to run a lot better than those two quarterbacks they usually work with in Bennett Johnson and McLeod Croton. So they have him in at the goal line, sort of a Taysom Hill setup. He can run, he can pass, he's able to run the options.
And a touch pass to Revis Keener. He will pick up 7.
Keener on the carry.
McLeod Croton
Takes the ball
out of QB.
40-yard line, down
We got River Stout here on the left side island,
2nd and 5.
with Christian Revis Keener out in the slot, and Cameron Davis here on the right side as the H-back tight end. A power back set, motion, and they hand the ball off to number 35. And he is trucking, number 35, Quentin Pooler in for the touchdown, his 2nd touchdown of the game,
On the carry, takes it all the way to the end zone.
as he breaks away through that offensive line, full head of steam, picks up momentum, and nobody is stopping him. He is in the end zone for the touchdown. It is now 60-0, 3 minutes and 28 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Raiders are continuing to drive efficiently and effectively.
Well, Ian, nice job taking the wheel there for a little bit. Nice touchdown call. And the Raiders up, as you said, 60-0. Still in the 3rd quarter.
Daniel Pierce
First kick
out to kick the extra point. The kick is good.
3:28 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Is now 61-0. 3:28 left in the 3rd quarter.
Brahmas 0.
The rain comes and goes. We see the fans leaving the stadium.
Well, this game just about under wraps for the Raiders. Granted, a whole quarter left to play, but not very often or ever do you see a 60-point comeback with 18.5 minutes left to play in a game of football, especially with the way it's been going. There's been no sign of life from L.A. Pierce up to this point. And one thing to note, Santa Barbara, who is in the same conference as L.A. Pierce and Moore Park, played L.A. Pierce last week, and we talked about them scoring 63 points and winning 63-0. It's sort of a measurement stick for both Santa Barbara and Moore Park going into their game against each other in just 2 weeks from now. Moore Park's got 61 in the 3rd quarter. That's a good sign. There should be a good matchup in a couple weeks from now as a muffed field goal again. This is Yates. He will get to the 15 before he's brought down.
Correct, and both teams excelling against the struggling L.A. Pierce Brahmas team, and they will show that they're able to score, they're able to bring in their backups, continue to score, and put on a dominant performance in this Saturday evening.
We want to give a quick shout out to the Associated Students of Moore Park College and their board of directors who are here with us tonight. ASMC offers students the opportunity to participate in social and educational activities, both on and off campus. They are here as an outlet for all students to voice opinions and ideas they have about Moore Park College. Don't let your voice go unheard. Learn more by visiting
Matthew Abajian in at QB. They are in a spread set, running back off to the left.
And a screen and incomplete. And whoa, late hit. I mean,
Brings up second and
Late
10.
hit with a form tackle from Recio Kirksey. It continues to rain.
he definitely thought that ball could have been ruled a backwards pass. And the Raiders definitely excited about this game and how it's gone thus far. The rain coming down harder, and by the looks of it, it's not stopping anytime soon.
No, it is not, Luke.
So the conditions won't favor L.A. Pierce at all. And here's a throw to the outside. It is juggled and caught on the out route. A completion for L.A. Pierce.
Out to the 19-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 6.
And
Third
down
and 6.
Caught on the jinx there.
Matthew Abajian back in at QB. 3rd and long. A comfortable spot for L.A. Pierce.
And the Raiders, this is the best football I think they've played in one of our live streams that we've seen in recent years. As the handoff to Padilla will get about 2, and now a 4th down. And you got to be careful of penalties.
A little bit of a scuffle here after the play.
And no flags will be thrown, luckily for Moore Park.
It'll be 4th and 4.
Well, and just as, I guess you'd call it an announcer's jinx, but the rain seemingly has calmed down quite a bit in the last 30 seconds.
Gone to a complete halt as of the last couple of seconds, as you say, Luke.
Terrence Jones and Christian Rivas.
So up and down weather, it seems.
Of course, only affecting the L.A. Pierce offense.
At this point in the game, Moore Park, I wouldn't say they're too worried about theirs, but L.A. Pierce for trying to get something going. It's going to limit their passing game, and this punt is away. The snap was good, but a high-low punt is caught by Revis Keener. A fair catch at the 43 of L.A. Pierce, and the offense comes back out into the field looking to score once again. That would be they're looking for their 9th as a team, I believe.
Anytime you can put up 50, 60-plus points, it really shows the offensive scheme and the way the players are playing together and continuing to dominate this offensive game. As we see Luke Rasmussen in at quarterback with Cameron Davis in the backfield.
And here's a correction play action, and Rasmussen skips that one in the dirt looking for R.J. Garboski. Now a split back set for Rasmussen. A minute to go in the quarter. It's a give to Davis this time. Breaks a tackle. Davis finds a lane and picks up a 1st down for the Raiders.
Cameron Davis, a big running back. We usually see him in at the tight end spot for the goal line or heavy set. We see some different receivers out here for the Raiders. 83, R.J. Garboski. Christian Rivas Keener in the slot on the right side in motion.
And they give back to Davis to the right side. He will spin forward for 5. It'll be 2nd and half to go as we are under 30 seconds in the 3rd quarter, nearing the 4th and final.
As we also see number 30, Jeremy Patterson, hitting the field for the first time this game. A sophomore receiver.
And that ends the 3rd quarter, heading to the 4th. Both teams go to the sidelines. Your score, Moore Park Raiders 61, L.A. Pierce Brahmas 0.
A very quick quarter, as you would expect, here in the 2nd half.
And we would like to give a special thank you to California State University of Channel Islands for Seasucky's 20th anniversary theme, honoring our past, building the future. They begin their 3rd decade striving every day to realize their mission of student-centered excellence in higher education and to enact the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion in all that they do. Channel your potential at CSU Channel Islands.
Cal State Channel Islands, a landmark many of you may drive past on your way to the beach here in Southern California. Beach is a popular spot.
Well, right now isn't very beach weather, I'd say.
No, it is not.
A little bit of rain, a little too dark out as well. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point in the day. There are some nice beach times out here in California. Usually we got the sun out.
Down to Jack's Pizza for Raiders Happy Hour. From 9:30 to midnight, 20% off all food, appetizers, beer, and wine.
As here's the fumbled snap. Rasmussen will look to keep it himself. And he will lose about 5, so it'll be 3rd down and long for the Raiders.
Taken down to the backfield.
Fumbled snap on the option play,
28-yard line.
brings up a broken play, and Rasmussen is able to collect a few yards, but it brings up a 3rd and long for the Raiders
Again, Jack's Pizza
here in
tonight,
LA
Raiders
Pierce
Happy Hour,
territory.
Located in New Los Angeles Avenue on Moore Park, just a long touchdown pass from Griffin Stadium. Come join fun.
Once
wherever
again, a double
pizza
running back
is a
set.
work of art.
They
Like-
get a free play.
Free play. Rasmussen under pressure. He's hit. It's caught by Davis. Not that the play will now matter as it goes for no gain.
To number 9, Cameron Davis.
But this should bring up a 3rd down and 5.
The ball is hit out of Rasmussen's hands, and Cameron Davis is there to recover and bring it back to
Offside.
the line of scrimmage.
Defense, number 13. 5-yard penalty.
After the penalty, the ball moves to the Brahmas 23-yard line, where it'll be
The penalty is accepted, bringing up a 3rd and 4th here for the Moore Park Raiders.
Well, I'd imagine in this situation, if you don't pick up the first, you just send out the field goal unit. Take what points you can get. If Burke can knock it through, he's 1 for 3 on the night. He's made his last one from 27 out. Here's Rasmussen to give to Davis. He's got a lane. Plenty of yards for the 1st down, barreling over Resio Kirksey.
Right, Cameron Davis, full head of steam, hard to tackle, very big running back, runs through the hole, picks up a few extra yards with a guy on his back, ends up picking up the 1st down. It's now a 1st and 12 here towards the goal in the red zone for the Moore Park Raiders.
Well, Revis Keener in motion. Touch pass, and he is blasted in the backfield. What a hit by Tony Overstreet.
Tony Overstreet, perfect read, flies through the line of scrimmage into the backfield and absolutely levels Christian Revis Keener. Big time play and a highlight play for LA Pierce, 1st of the half, I would say.
That's I'd say that's their best play of the entire game up to this point. A huge hit. What a time up. And Overstreet's going to come on the blitz again. Rasmussen's pass is batted down and incomplete.
Here we see late in the game some energy from this LA Pierce defense. They're making plays. You see once again Tony Overstreet on the blitz causing a ruckus. And number 5, Parker Pelletier comes in for the pass breakup.
Here's Rasmussen firing to the end zone. Back shoulder fade. Out of bounds. No chance for R.J. Grabowski. And a field goal unit will come out onto the field. And one thing to note of a couple players here, including Tony Overstreet, he is an out-of-state transfer to this school. He's from Pritchard, Alabama. And he made a great play right there, one of the best, including the quarterback, Peyton Pelletier. He's from Tucson, Arizona.
Big transfer, Tony Overstreet. You know how the South loves their football.
Here's Burke, kick on the way. Does he get this one? He does. Daniel Burke. He's 2 for 5 on the night, and it is 64-0, and the Raiders out onto their lead.
Complete dominance here tonight from the Moore Park Raiders as we see special teams, defense, offense, everyone completing their assignments, working great as a team. Now all they have to do is run out the clock and finish this game, head home for glory and a meal.
Come join the fun.
That's one of the best parts post-football games. Where are you going to go to eat afterwards?
Of course, you got to go to In-N-Out, the best on the West Coast.
Well,
Unofficial advertisement there.
In-N-Out is one of the sponsors of our Moore Park Raider program. It's a nice little plug in there for them.
That's what a hamburger's all about, Luke.
And then Burke will send this one away. And only a lone returner back. Anthony is back there, no Yates. He's up at the 35 and a running start at the 13. And here's a pitch to Yates, it fails. Moore Park recovers. And that is going to be another turnover on a kickoff.
Luke, we mentioned earlier trying out some risky plays. There we see they try and run a pitch reverse. And, you know, it's wet out. It's raining a little bit. Ball stumbles out of Charles Yates' hands, and the Moore Park Raiders pick it up already in the red zone.
A free red zone opportunity as well, and a chance to hit the 70-point mark in this game with 9:36 to go.
They bring out Rasmussen and Cameron Davis to lead this offense.
I would imagine Rasmussen's gonna take this one to triple zeros for the Raiders. Obviously not this drive, but him at quarterback. Here's the give. And picking up 4.
Right, Luke, and no point in not leaving in Rasmussen. He has experience. You want to keep your guys, Bennett Johnson and McLeod Croton, out. Keep them fresh for the next game. And, you know, give Luke Rasmussen some more experience. Let him get a little bit more comfortable out there, lead this offense to a possible few touchdowns late in this game.
And Elias Toscano, the running back for the Raiders. First time we've seen him tonight. He gets the handoff and finds a lane, and he is close to a first down. So whether it is Landless, Powell, Davis, or now Toscano, it seems like the Raiders' rushing attack is going to find a way.
Anyone with an eligible number to run the ball here has been dominating and has found their way past this D-line of the LA Pierce Brahmas and past the 6 to get first downs here.
Now a third down and short. Wouldn't be surprised. Overstreet on the last couple of plays has been telling blitz. Here's Rasmussen. The blitz is in. He pulls it, keeping it himself. He lowers the shoulder, but will not get the first. He loses 3, and is presumably another Burke field goal, but a flag is down. I mean, I think we might be looking at either a face mask or an unnecessary roughness on the defense.
That could be very costly, obviously. This would have ended up in a 4th and short, bringing out the field goal team, but possibly a first down here for the Moore Park Raiders.
And we'll await the call.
After the play, personal foul. Defense number 3, half distance to the goal, first down.
So a personal foul against LA Pierce. They get Carlo Arvizu, the outside linebacker from Tucson, Arizona. A lot of transfers on this LA Pierce team from Arizona. But a fresh set of downs, as you said, would have been 4th and short. Here's Rasmussen on the run, barreling towards the end zone. He leaps across, and he's in for the touchdown, Raiders. And Moore Park notches 70 on the board.
More points for the Moore Park Raiders and a rushing touchdown for Luke Rasmussen, who we said earlier is their running quarterback. He's able to run those option plays. This time he takes a guy into the touchdown with him. Solid run on the QB draw. Luke Rasmussen gets a rushing touchdown. 70-0 Moore Park Raiders.
And a rout of the LA Pierce Brahmas for the 2nd week in a row. And the kick is good, so 71-0, Ian. They have given up a combined 134 points to nothing in their last 2 weeks. You got to go back to the drawing board and practice after this one and just figure out something to get a positive this season.
Well, I think you got to restructure that entire offense. You got 2 quarterbacks to run that offense behind, but from what we've seen, they've been very predictable and very inefficient. I think you gotta hit the drawing board. Maybe run some option plays or some wildcat even with Charles Yates out here, easily their most explosive player and effective player on the team, besides maybe their punter.
He's seen the field quite a lot of times. But as I would agree with you, Yates has been that guy for L.A. Pierce. I mean, for the Raiders, you can do a list as long as almost the entire roster. This has been a complete performance on special teams, offense, and defense by everyone out there.
Right, and even rotating second-string guys in, you're able to get some stats for nearly everybody on the team. There's a costly penalty on the kickoff.
And the rain comes back.
Here comes the rain. Once again, California is cheering. Happy to see rain.
It's always a pleasant sight here in California.
Yeah, and it adds a different aspect to the game. You know, you gotta manage your team, maybe even pick out a different QB for the rain. We see Luke Rasmussen in here. He brings an option run aspect, and you know, maybe they didn't plan for that. They are up 71-0, but you gotta imagine he handles the ball better in the rain, given the fact that he can run.
Ball is placed on the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Brahmas.
And Abajian in at quarterback. And that's the one thing. Neither quarterbacks for L.A. Pierce, known as option quarterbacks, as Yates sticks the handoff out of bounds for 4, but a flag was down to start the play, and this one's going to be offsides on the Raiders.
Offsides on the defense. Number 91 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
And offsides was lined up in the neutral zone.
That is Robert Ruggiero, number 91, D lineman, freshman, out of Calabasas High.
That's also his 3rd penalty of the night. He has 2 roughing the passers. And now in offsides. A little antsy to get to the quarterback. And here's Abajian firing deep over the middle, wide open, complete, and brought down at the 30. And spiking the ball in what seems to be frustration that he could not take it to the end zone.
Right, you have a broken play there. Matthew Abajian hits him in stride, but he's not able to stay on his feet and pick up the touchdown. But so far, that was the best play they've had on offense all game.
And that was number 25, Adrian Gutierrez from Las Vegas, Nevada. 6'2" freshman receiver. Finds a hole in the defense. There's Abajian, gives to Yates, picks up about 3. And the shutout is in jeopardy for Moore Park. And an injured player. Hate to see this in a game this late that's already out of hand.
Looks like Yates is down. Their number
That's
1
not
go-to
good.
guy.
Official timeout.
Referees take an injury timeout.
Well, a game like this, never want to see an injury at all in football, and especially in a game when the score is 71-0. You know, you want everybody who's out there to stay healthy. At this point in the game, it's pretty much sealed the deal, but
Right, at this point in the game, essentially you're trying to keep yourself healthy. You're trying to get some experience out there, maybe throw in some second-string guys, get them comfortable for the next games. But the last thing you want to see is an injury out on the field.
6:35 to play in the game. Penn State 45, Minnesota 17. And in the Big 12, with 12
and Yates is up to his feet.
we have TCU 38, Kansas State. Correction, TCU 31, Kansas State 28.
Charles Yates walking off the field.
It's a good sign to see for L.A. Pierce. And that'll bring Resio Kirksey back into the backfield.
Rain continues to fall as the Brahmas are heading into the red zone here, coming out in a spread set.
Here's Abajian under pressure, throws way too high. The intended receiver was Dan McWilliams Becerra, and we have not called his name all night in terms of an actual play, besides questioning why he hasn't seen that much action here tonight. I mean, we expected him coming into this game to be one of their leading receivers and have the biggest impact. He leads the team in receiving yards.
Right, he leads the team in receptions and receiving yards. He has the greatest average. Yet to see a catch in this game. And now with the rain, at risk of leaving the game with no catches.
It's not a good sign for him. And L.A. Pierce, maybe that was one of the main issues. They did not get their star wide receiver involved at the start, and they try to get him on a deep corner, and it is intercepted by Moore Park. It is Khalil Collins again, his second of the game, and he's got room down the sideline. Abajian goes down on a big block, and walking into the end zone, and a late flag, but a touchdown Raiders. This one could come back yet again. This could be the second pick six taken off the board.
Another defensive touchdown. Great play by Collins. He reads the QB, it's underthrown. He's able to high point the ball, come up with the interception, make a great return. Blockers are out in front. We'll see if this penalty is against the Raider defense.
Doing the return. Unsportsmanlike act on number 89. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So the
That's number
second,
89's first unsportsmanlike.
so that is the second, what I would presume is taunting. The second taunting on a pick six that cost the Raiders a touchdown. That is not going to make head coach Mike Stewart very happy. He is, despite the score, that's a huge problem. If you're celebrating on the way to the end zone on big plays, that's going to cost you penalties and wipe them off the board. That's 2 touchdowns taken away. You're going to have to drill that into him in practice. That's not okay to do that. That has costed Moore Park 14 points in tonight's game. Granted, those points may not make the biggest difference, but in a close game, you cannot be doing that.
Right, it's a costly penalty, and it takes away a huge play, an absolute highlight play for number 89 Collins. And, you know, you got to think, maybe wait till you get to the sidelines to start celebrating.
Or till after the play is over and you get in the end zone. They can't take your touchdown away. But in this term, now that wipes that off the stat sheets, especially in JUCO. You're looking for stats and good plays. Colleges aren't going to like seeing taunting penalties. That's probably one of their least favorite. And this pass out of the hands and incomplete. He was looking for Jalen Thompson.
Right, so now you have the offense coming back out on the field. Not expecting that, as that was an easy return for a touchdown. And, you know, they're out of shape here. 3rd and long. We'll see how they react and what the scheme here is here in L.A. Pierce territory.
We're under 4 minutes to go. Not a lot of urgency from the Raiders. I wouldn't imagine you're just trying to get out of here at this point. Any touchdown would just be a little cherry on top, and a huge tackle in the backfield. That is number 33, Rafi Anthony, one of the kick returners. And that brings up 4th down and a field goal. This is going to be a long try for Burke.
Long field goal for Burke, but there's no reason not to try it. Of course, you're going to give them the ball back if you miss it, but this is a career high here for Daniel Burke, and he definitely has the leg for it.
This would be 51 yards. They have Anthony in the back of the end zone to return if it's short. Burke made his long of 40 against Santa Ana, and a penalty. The kick, we'll see where it goes. It traveled short and left. So Burke will get a good gauge on how he needs to adjust.
Offside on the defense, number 28. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So this penalty, not enough to bring up a 1st down, but enough to move the ball a little bit closer for Daniel Burke in his 2nd attempt on this field goal to make it 74-0 late in the 4th quarter.
They move it up. It's 46. This is 6 past his career long. The kick on the way, and it is good. 46 yards from Daniel Burke. Third field goal of the day as he gets knocked down during the celebration. It is 74-0.
One last highlight play for Daniel Burke, and what more can you ask for? You make a drive off that big interception. It gets called back from the flag, but you're able to pick up some points and put a whole load of confidence in Daniel Burke as he picks up his career high right there.
Now you know his range. I mean, that one was good from probably back at 51, I'd say. He got all of that one and the accuracy as well. I mean, power hasn't really been a problem for him all season. It's been missing it to the left or right, which he did twice earlier in this game, but then since then he's been 3 for 3. At 2:46 to go. A surefire win for the Moore Park Raiders as they will advance to 4-3, and LA Pierce drops to 0-7.
Daniel Burke to kick it off with Becerra and Anthony in the back to return.
Well, and Becerra's first time touching the ball out to the right side, cuts it back in, and brought down at the 45-yard line. A lot of great returns from LA Pierce. It's been the bright spot of their team, is the special teams return unit outside of the one fumble and then the play that got muffed and down at the 2. I mean, they've had a lot of opportunities at returns due to the 74-0 score, but they've made the most of them.
That's correct, Luke. They have some great blocking out there on special teams. The returners seem to find their way heading north and south down the field. Here they are at the 45-yard line to start the drive. Matthew Abajian in at quarterback once again.
And Abajian's going to look on the screen. It is complete and brought down at the 7-yard line by Dan McWilliams Becerra. And the Moore Park Raiders have just set an all-time scoring record, beating 72 that has stood since 1988 here at the college. The football team today scoring 74 points, so congratulations to the team on breaking a long-standing school record.
Yeah, Luke, that's big time. That's going to put a lot of confidence not only in the coaching staff and how successful they've been this evening, but all the players. I mean, we've seen almost everybody hit the field, offense and defense, and everybody has played great. Coming out here, 74-0, clock's running, it's 1:44. Hoping to come out with a goose egg, but they set a record regardless. Great night for the Moore Park Raiders.
And a party is on here at Raider Pavilion. 1:20 left to go. A lot of high hopes for this team heading into next week against LA Valley on October the 29th. We will be here for that game at home, and they look to defend their home streak of 3-0. Here's Abajian sending one deep and incomplete ahead of his receiver, Jason Labra.
Early pressure in the backfield. Abajian's able to get the ball out, but a little bit ahead of his receiver, Labra.
Timeout.
Does not come up with the completion.
First charge timeout of the second half.
Is now a 4th and short. The Brahmas call a timeout here.
And the wind's starting to pick up a little bit.
For a last-minute play call. We'll see what they come out in here.
Well, the biggest thing for the Raiders, this could be the last play. You get the ball back, you're going to knee the ball down. So you got to make sure there's no points given up. I mean, it's... Yes, you'll still win, but anybody who's played football or any sort of sport, as a matter of fact, if you have a shutout on the board or holding a team below a certain amount of points, you're going to want to do that more than anything, despite it being late in the game or if it's in hand. There's a different sort of feeling and a little bit of different sweetness to a win when the other team is shut out.
Right, Luke, and aside from penalties, Moore Park Raiders have a shot at a perfect game here. I assume they don't want to give that up.
And here's the run, in trouble on 4th down, and he will not get there. Kirksey dropped for a loss of 2, and the Raiders will take over, and Luke Rasmussen will end this game. I imagine the Raiders would not try to score once again. I mean, 74-0. The clock will start running.
Right, we got 50 seconds left in this game. You're going to send the offense out there in the victory formation, kneel the ball out, and you're going to go home with a 74-0 dub.
And I mean, an amazing game from Moorpark. I mean, they executed perfectly in almost every single aspect of this game. LA Pierce, the opposite, unfortunately for them, but going into a tough game against LA Valley, being undefeated in conference, including scoring 49 and then 74 points. I mean, you've outscored your opponents over 100 points to 13, which was given up last week to Santa Monica. The Raiders have their heads held high in anticipation for the remainder of the season, as the kneel down will end tonight's game. Moorpark 74 and LA Pierce 0. School records broken. A dominant defensive, offensive, and special teams performance from the Raiders. And the Raiders will improve to 4-3 and undefeated at home in conference. Ian, your final thoughts on the
here, causing pressure. Hopefully they get their defensive lineman guys back in Amari Thomas and Pate Casillas. Continue to put some confidence in that offense in Bennett Johnston and McLeod Croughton if he decides to come in, and continue doing what you're doing. Great game tonight, and a successful win for the Moorpark Raiders once again at home.
A huge win for the Raiders, and we thank you all for joining us tonight in this football game on Saturday night. The Raiders defeat LA Pierce. We will be back for LA Valley on October the 29th. Thank you all for joining us, and good night.